Hello there. So you want to learn clarinet? Well, you've come to the right place. My name is Joseph, and I've been playing clarinet longer than you've been alive. And so today in this video, I just want to go over a couple of basic things in the clarinet. The first thing I want to talk about real fast is squeaks. So squeaks are something that plague every clarinet player. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it right now because I'm actually going to make a full video on it in part 1. And so basically the main thing I wanted to address is that if you are having squeak issues on clarinet, if you squeak a lot, I guarantee you the problem is definitely going to be your fingers. You're just gonna have to trust me on that. If you want more information, go to part 1, which I will release at the same time as this introduction video. So that's the first thing. And then I wanted to talk about setup. So as far as setup goes, it's actually quite simple. The clarinet obviously looks very complex and complicated, but there's only a few things you have to keep in mind. So the first thing that you should really pay attention to is where you set your reed and your ligature. So if you look carefully, hopefully it's showing up in the video, the reed should just be a bit lower than the mouthpiece. You should be able to see the black part of the mouthpiece peeking up above the reed, just a hair, not too much. And then as far as the ligature goes, I like to set mine kind of at this slope. The top of the ligature should just be just a bit below that slope. Obviously the exact amount will depend on your mouthpiece and your ligature and how you have it set up, but I like to set it up about there. Another good guideline would be the cut of the reed, where the reed is cut at this little smiley face shape. The top of the ligature on the front should just be a hair lower than that. Very important thing to keep in mind, the ligature is always right-handed, which means that the screws will always be on your right hand here. They have different ligatures, some with the screws on the back, some with the screws on the front, but they will always be on the right hand. So if you have one where the screws are on the front, the screws will never be on this side, it will always be on this side. For the rest of the setup, it's actually quite straightforward, as I said, even though it looks complex. The pieces will only fit one way. So let me have this unassembled clarinet. So this is the lower body, this is the belt, and as you can see, obviously this piece fits right here. It's not going to fit on the upper body, on any of these corks here. So you can see it obviously fits loose. Same goes with this, you can't fit it this way, so it only fits one way. The only important thing to keep in mind is when you assemble the upper body and the lower body, there is a piece here in the middle, might be hard to see, right here, this piece that I'm moving, right here. There is a bridge piece on the lower body and the upper body. So here's the bridge piece here, and there's the bridge piece on the upper body. And if you look carefully, you can see little grooves cut out. Those grooves should line up with that bridge. It'll be different with different models, but typically they'll kind of all look relatively similar. One thing I like to do is I like to press this key ring right here, and that'll lift that bridge piece up, and that way it sits above here, it's not touching as you assemble it. And then you just want to line it up, make sure that is lined up straight. It's hard to get it in camera. There it is. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing obviously is that because there are a lot of keys, you have to kind of know how to hold the clarinet as you assemble it. You don't want to bend anything. But one thing I like to do is where your fingers go on these holes, you can use that to kind of hold the clarinet as you put it together, because those are meant to be pressed. But if you're kind of holding like this or something. You just want to be a little bit careful that you're not bending anything as you assemble. That's assembly. And then next I want to talk about making sound on the clarinet, and that's where I'll stop this video today. Very simple. There's what we call the embouchure. I'm gonna probably make a whole video on embouchure and go through it more in depth, but embouchure is basically just the fancy word for how we set our mouth. There's not much to it that I want to talk about here, but basically your lower lip should be covering your bottom teeth. Your top teeth should be touching the mouthpiece, like that, right? And your lower lip will cover your bottom teeth. And very important, I'll talk about it more in the embouchure video, but your tongue should not be touching anything. It should not be touching your bottom teeth or your upper teeth or anything weird like that. Your tongue should kind of just be hovering in front of the reed. So you have your top teeth here and your bottom teeth tight, right? Or your bottom lip tight over your teeth. And you just hold the mouthpiece with your mouth, and then you use these corners to push in. Right here. And you just blow through the clarinet. When you're blowing through the clarinet, you always want to blow very fast air. And think of like you're hissing, right? So it's like you're hissing through the clarinet. And that's the kind of air you want to blow. And that's about it for this video. So, very important, if you have any questions about anything, I will be making more videos on this. This will be a whole series. I don't know how many parts there will be, but I'm gonna go in depth with each individual topic that I can think of. And if you have any questions or requests on any of the things related to clarinet, I'll try to answer them in the comments, or if I think it warrants a whole video, I'll make a whole video about it. So, thank you.